Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Cinetroverts, the show that celebrates mediocrity. I'm your host, Mondo, and with me is...
Tabitha.
Tabitha, hi. How are you?
I'm super. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. We've got a really exciting show for you today. We're going to talk about the badass women of cinema. We're going to talk about superheroes. We're going to talk about anti-superheroes. We're going to talk about all the badass women, the mothers that we wish we had. Not that we're ungrateful. Well, not that I'm ungrateful for the mothers that I have. The mother that I have. I didn't think I had more than one. But a boy's best friend is his mother.
Of course.
So, yeah, we're going to kick that off. And, well, we're going to change things up just a little bit because we have our first official guest with us this week. So, normally we talk about what we watched this week, which honestly wasn't much. I mean, we did see The Mummy last night.
Yes, we did.
So we'll
at the drive-in.
Well, yeah, at the drive-in. Yeah, so we'll lightly touch that. And what did we see last week? Did we see something else?
Did we go last week?
I don't remember now. I'm blanking out all of a sudden.
I know. All we saw was Wonder Woman last week.
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman, which we did talk about, but we may bring that up again too, because we're talking about about badass women.
Yeah.
The number one movie in America was directed by a woman.
That's right.
Stars a woman. DC owns. Anyway, but yeah, normally we talk about upcoming releases and whatnot, so we're going to change things around a little bit. We are going to talk about upcoming releases on the Cinetroverts fan page on Facebook, as well as maybe recommendations and stuff, so we're going to kind of start doing that. That way we have more topic time. But without further ado, I want to introduce our first official guest on the show. She is a filmmaker, she's a producer, she is a content creator, she is an actress, she is one of my good friends. She is Miss Tracy King.
Hi! Hello!
How you doing, Tracy?
I'm good.
All right, I'm so glad you can join us.
Yeah, me too. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Your podcast is so rad. Yeah.
I know. I have a podcast. I've been talking about doing it for years.
Yeah, I know, and it's all about horror and everything, and I love that you guys are talking about women today.
Hell yeah.
So,
well, last week we talked about, like, villainesses. Like, we talked about Cruella de Vil. We talked about, what's her name? The Little Mermaid. I'm blanking all of a sudden. Ursula. Oh, my God. Yeah, the drag queen. But, yes. Based on a drag queen, apparently. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but you know, we just this is something.
We touched on a few of them last.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, but we did want to talk about some that we missed. But before we get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about you for our 5 listeners. So, are you what we would call a Cinetrovert? And if you haven't picked up on it by now, a Cinetrovert is someone that is a little introverted, but also a cinephile. Would you consider yourself somewhat of a Cinetrovert?
I'm an introvert.
Yeah, you are pretty outgoing.
Yeah, I'm actually what you consider an omnivert. Like, I'm definitely outgoing, and I definitely need people. Because that's the thing, is people automatically think an introvert is somebody who's shy, but that's not the case. It's just somebody who they can't be around people all the time because it drains their energy.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but versus me, where I do need people, but I do enjoy my space. Mm-hmm. And I do need it, and most of the time, I'm no lie, I told my boyfriend, this was not too long ago, I just need to unwind and relax and put on a good horror movie. And he was like, you watch horror to relax? I'm like, yeah. Yes, I do.
It's a great escape. Films are an amazing escape. But no, I too walk, you know me pretty well. We've known each other for, God, how long have we known each other now? Almost 10 years?
Jeez, 7 or 8 years, yeah.
But I walk the fine line of introvert, extrovert. You know, because I mean, I am very social. At the same time, I get drained. I'm like, leave me alone. Yeah, you're like, I know. Mondo would never come out with us. Yeah. But well, so you've created some of your own content for YouTube or online. You've been in films. You've been on TV. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your work, or we may have seen you, because I know you've done some bigger TV shows, right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, the only thing huge I did was I was a stunt person in the show 11th Hour, and they called myself in along with like 2 or 3 other. Cause the thing is, my background is military. I was in the military, Air Force for 8 years, and
That's right. Yeah, you were in the service.
Yeah, I was, and they called us in because they usually need people to do gun work, and so I was playing a terrorist, and I was shooting with blanks, and they just wanted people that knew what they were talking or like doing with a gun. So that's like the biggest thing I've done on TV.
Okay, I was going to ask real quick. I just want to interject real quick. Was that the show? I think I saw a clip of that. Was that the show with Marlene Shelton?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. And I did the sort of, I guess you would call it like a web series, kind of, for Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And yeah, I did that, and I actually also did my own stunts in that, and I lost 6 pounds that week because I had to carry a 40-pound rifle.
Oh my gosh.
It was, no joke, very heavy. Like,
wow.
Well, it's 40 pounds. You guys know what that feels. It's heavy.
Right.
And I had to run around with it. Yeah. It was raining that week, so I slipped down a mountain a few times because of that rifle.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then I did a rom-com, biggest one. Not really a huge role. He's just not that into you. Played a military girl.
Wait, you're in
in
that?
the very beginning. I was, but it was in the very, very beginning of like girls telling their friends, "It's all right. It's not you. It's not you." Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Really,
I gotta look for that because I think I've seen that movie in passing, but I don't think I've actually ever watched it. I totally need to look that up now.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that's the movie, the gift that keeps on giving, because I get residuals on that one.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember on Hulu watching a movie that you're in where you played a chola.
Oh God, that's on Hulu?
Yeah, that's where I saw it. I saw it for free. It
Why
was
did you
streaming.
watch that? It's called King of the Streets.
King of the Streets, that's what it is. And you're like a chola, like, beat his ass, homie. Like,
God, no. Okay, no, I don't sound like. I mean, if you can hear my voice right now, this is exactly how. Kick his ass, homie. Like, I don't know what. I think they cast me because I've also got like tattoos, and that's why I get cast a lot as like. And this is fine for me because these are good roles. Like, I get cast a lot as a lesbian or military girl or just like tough girl all around. But if you meet me in person, I'm actually like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. Give me a hug. Like,
yeah. She's so cuddly and sweet and geeky.
Aw.
But yeah, but you could. But there are some of your headshots where you look like like you belong in Mad Max. Like you could fuck shit up.
Yeah, no, our mutual friend Drew, when you and I first met him, we met at the same time on 813, and I remember he told me, he said he looked both of us up, because he does that, and I do the same thing. Like, before I work with somebody, I look them up to see what their credits are, and he saw my picture, the one with the mohawk, and he was like, I was so intimidated by you, I thought if I messed up, you were going to kill me.
That's right, when you had a mohawk, yeah, right.
Yeah, but I did it for a part. Like, that was for a movie.
Yeah, I totally remember seeing that on your reel.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing now? Because I know that was some of the stuff you've done before. What are you working on now?
I'm actually working on, of course, another more like a psychological thriller called Insane Jane. It's in picture lock post-production right now, and it's about it's actually got some, based on a true story that's mine. It's about a woman who was medically disabled or discharged from the military, and she comes home and happens to catch her husband having an affair. We haven't told the story yet, but her whole childhood and background is actually really, really messed up. She comes from a cult family, and her sister are the most, like, they tried to get away from it, but Jane is like spiraling down into this dark hole. And then she's visited by this demon. Her name is Amit. And Amit stands at the scales of justice, according to Greek mythology, with Anubis. Mm-hmm. And they weigh the heart of men with, I don't remember how many feathers, but with I think it's a feather. And if the man's heart is heavier than the feather, she devours their heart and soul, because it means they're evil. So we wrote the story to where she pisses off the gods, she's thrown into the world, and to keep her immortality, she has women doing her dirty work of cheating men, since Anubis cheated on her, because she had an affair with Anubis. And so she has to get women to do her dirty work, so she has to eat the hearts and do it that way. So Jane is her next target, and it goes from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah, very. You know me. We've it's all about that mythology. We've done that before, and I'm working on an experimental short film called Eye for an Eye, and that is just the visual representation of my feelings towards the cat and dog meat trade and how people are involved with that. So it's a lot of anger involved with that film.
But that
just help.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, no, that is a really important topic because I know you are a hardcore animal lover. You love dogs and cats, especially. You have your crazy cat lady starter kit already. We own a dog. We're dog lovers. But I mean, dogs are such precious creatures that it really sucks that in other places, and I guess even here, people would consider doing such things. I mean, meat in general, that's a whole other debate that could be opened up. But dogs, man, dogs and cats, that's just some kind of fucked up evil that is horrible, and a lot of people aren't aware of that.
Exactly.
So I think it is really awesome that you are doing a documentary about the dog meat trade. I think people need to know about it.
Next. Yeah, I do plan at some point to do a documentary. This is more of just, it's a film.
Oh, okay.
But it's just experimental. But, as far as that goes, it really was just to open up a conversation. And you saying, we are no better here in America. Mm-hmm. But the difference is, and I usually, because I did study anthropology in college, and preserving a culture is also a thing of mine. However, what they do to these animals in Asia, cats and dogs, because the thing is we grew up knowing them as companion animals, but we cannot judge another culture for what they eat, because look at what we eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in some cultures, cows are sacred. So they look at us in the same way. However, and I strongly... it's really hard for me to say, go online, watch a video, but, you have to be really prepared for that. I still see these images to this day. It will kill your soul in a way, because you're just it breaks my heart to know that any kind of, a person in general could do any kind, that kind of torture. It's suffocating.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching it on a computer screen, so I'm, sometimes it's just you got to do everything that you can. There's only one of us, you know what I mean, on this planet, to make just a small mark and save what, you know what I mean, do what you can. I don't know, it's really, really hard, because it's frustrating, because you feel like you're never doing enough. Mm. But even if it's just one life, you've still succeeded, Yeah.
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 We just got deep, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, man. Dude, no, please.
That's a good topic.
No, it's really, I never thought about it that way, the way you explained it, about, how, dogs are special to us, but, we also eat cows, which are sacred in other places, or godly creatures in other places. So I never thought about it that way. So that's an interesting point, and I'm glad you brought this up today, because this is stuff that I think we should all think about, and, it's stuff that should be heard. So,
about judging another culture. But the thing is this is the real horror. You know what I mean? We watch horror for fun, and it's hilarious when it's happening on screen. Well, it's not hilarious, but, we see it done to adult human beings. But the difference is we know what we're getting into most of the time. Animals don't, and babies don't ask for that.
Right.
That's one thing, and I always get squeamish. I don't know about some people and their lines in horror, but I definitely have one. And usually when we break rules, it's fine, unless it's children and animals. And I get squeamish. Not that I turn away, but it just like, oh man, that's really messed up.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the most effective part in the original Halloween is when, Michael kills that German Shepherd. It's just so disheartening.
You never like that, right?
I know.
Like, I know this is a horror, but
because and you don't, and the thing is, you don't even see the dog killed. You just see his legs go.
It's still sad.
Go limp, and that's just something dogs don't naturally do.
Yeah.
So it's just horrible to watch.
Well, it's just because they trust us, and you don't want to abuse that and hurt them in any way.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing, is we're the custodians of this planet, and a lot of us just aren't taking care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, again, like if you ask about like John Carpenter, Wes Craven, and most of these horror filmmakers, a lot of them were philanthropists.
Mm-hmm.
We're not as crazy as people think. Like we, like even you, Mondo, you're a, super horror person, and you were the sweetest people around.
Oh my God! Stop it, Tracy.
Oh my God! Stop it! I just ruined your reputation.
I know our 5 listeners are expecting a certain image from me.
No, but that's the truth. Like horror people who are huge horror fans, and the filmmakers are actually among the sweetest people. Like Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's a vegetarian.
Yeah, he's a vegan, man. Yeah, he's hardcore.
Oh, now he's a vegan. Okay,
he's a vegan now. Yeah, he's hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last I knew, but that's got to tell you something right there. You know what I mean? Like, we're much more interested in the human condition and what it is that we're trying to hide from ourselves versus actually hurting things in real life.
Right.
Because we're not crazy. We're really not. We're actually very open people.
I'm not crazy. Yeah. No.
You're not crazy. Yes, you're crazy.
So we're talking about badass women in cinema. We're talking about, stars, but right before we get into that topic, I do want to talk about women behind the scenes, because Wonder Woman, #1 movie in America. Have you seen it yet, Tracy?
I have.
Oh, so good. Directed by a woman, which is awesome. So, there are some really talented women directors out there that don't, get the credit they deserve. But, you being a woman, like someone that produces and creates content in a male-dominated industry, have you ever had difficulties with projects or trying to get things going? Because maybe, have you ever felt that kind of pressure? Or
actually, for the most part, I've been lucky because I've worked with friends.
Yeah.
And so far. However, I have started venturing out to do to produce other things for other people. Most recently, actually, and I did get some noticeable. Oh man, it's because I'm a woman. Most of the guys did not want to talk to me, but so I would say something, and then my male counterpart would say the same thing, just to kind of make sure they heard it. And those men we were both dealing with would more listen to him. And it wasn't my male equal. It was just, it wasn't his fault. It was just these guys didn't want to listen to me.
Right.
And, it was the first time I've experienced that. Because most of the time, it was when we did the LA Web Fest for A13, and the guy who was running it, he actually didn't mean any harm by it, but he thought I was a guy because Tracy's a unisex name. But he was just more excited about it. But this other thing I produced, I actually got a lot of short answers. Didn't really want to talk to me. Just kind of pushed me away a little bit, and it was actually really, really hard to get the job done. Until I started getting a little forceful, and I started getting pushy. No, I need this now, and then I just became. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, so I became the B word.
No, do it, man, do it. I don't give a fuck what you say. Do it.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, I became the bitch. And I'm not, but I had to get a little pushy.
Sometimes they leave you no choice.
What's that? that?
I said sometimes they leave you no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, sometimes it's just like, did you hear me? And you have to, like, really stomp your foot down. And it's actually really hard, especially, you know, sometimes in horror. Like, not with the horror fans themselves, but the guys who don't really come from a horror background. I've noticed, who are just a little cocky and need to be bumped down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I've definitely been there. No, I think for me, just my whole take on it is, I mean, I was raised by a single mother, so I have a big appreciation for, like, well, for women in general, but for, like, strong female characters in film, you know, which is what we're going to talk about right now. I mean, I just think that, I don't know, I just think that there's, for years, especially in the horror genre, like, it's, you know, or action films, they're male-dominated genres, and women are just there to die and look hot and, you know, flash the titties, and that's pretty much it. No, man, I disagree. There are some really outstanding, you know, whether it be The Last Girl or The Final Girl or just some kick-ass, you know, lead characters that change. And I think Patty Jenkins directing Wonder Woman, I think it's going to open doors, man. I think people are going to I mean, I've always taken women filmmakers seriously, but I think this is going to open doors, man. I hope it does.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But
I really do too. But you still have the one huge female director. I don't know if she's done horror, but Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow, man. Yeah, she has.
Near Dark.
Near Dark, man. Mm-hmm. You ever seen Near Dark, Tracy?
No.
Vampire.
What?
I haven't.
Vampire movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God! Watch it tonight. After we're done, you said you're going to stay home, relax tonight. Order on Amazon, dude. Watch it tonight. It is a It's like an urban, like Western type movie, like, you know, gunslinging and stuff. Not like cowboy, but it's a vampire movie. It's awesome. Bill Paxton, yo.
Oh yeah, I know. There's so many things. Like wait. We're not talking about Zero Dark 30 in it. Wait, what are you talking about?
Near Dark.
It's from like the late 80s.
Oh no, I own that. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you guys.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah.
No, that's totally cool. I actually own it.
Yes. Yeah, that's Catherine Bigelow, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I do like it.
A movie I love that she did, that Catherine Bigelow directed, that not a lot of people have seen. I showed it to Tabitha like a year ago. It's one of my all-time favorite cop movies, Blue Steel. Have you ever seen that one?
You know what? I think I have seen it.
It's Jamie Lee Curtis plays a New York rookie police officer.
Yep.
Yes, I love that movie.
That was
so good.
It's been a while though, but yeah, I've seen it, and I was a huge Jamie Lee Curtis fan. Just like a lot of people, yes, because of Halloween.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, the list goes on, man. Halloween,
Jamie
True Lies.
Yeah.
Alien. Wait.
Oh, I thought we were.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience.
No, it's okay.
You didn't know Jamie Lee Curtis played the Xenomorph?
Yes. Jamie Lee Curtis played the Xenomorph in Alien.
Little factoid.
Yeah.
I know that's not true.
Her long, lanky arms and legs had purpose. Finally,
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kick off our topic this week, folks. We're gonna talk about badass women in cinema. So I did ask on the Cinetroverts page, who's your favorite badass woman in film? And the answers I got quite often were Trinity from Matrix. A lot of people like Trinity from The Matrix. Carrie Ann Moss, not bad. I got a lot of Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road.
I see that, yes.
Yeah, so those are like the two most popular answers I think we got.
That's surprising.
Well, I mean, apart from the topic we're going to talk about right now, the people we're going to talk about, but those are like I would say, runner-up answers. First off, we're going to talk about Miss Ellen Ripley. So Tabitha, please take it away.
Well, okay, so I give my stepdad a lot of crap. I do. But I will give him this. He showed me a lot of really good movies when I was young. And Alien was one of them. And that movie, I was maybe 8 or 9 or so, and it did have an impact on me because I had never seen any kind of any kind of action sci-fi movie with a female protagonist. I remember when it started, and I didn't recognize Sigourney Weaver as a little 8-year-old. So I just assumed that Dallas was the main character and he was going to live to the end. So I was very surprised when he got killed off relatively early. Spoilers for Alien, sorry. And by the time Ripley was the last one, I was like really surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't even know you were allowed to do that in a movie. So seeing her, it definitely kind of changed the way I saw things, because I just had never, and it wasn't like, oh, that sucks. I just didn't think about it, and then I realized after that movie, I'm like, you don't ever see it. Why can't I see that more? This was great. Look at that. She lived, and she's a woman. So I remember it definitely having an impact on me.
A really big bit of trivia that some people know, some people don't. Ripley was written as a man.
Yes. And I think he said that he changed it so the character would stand out more.
Yeah, I think that Ridley Scott was like, oh, well, it'll have to be a man. Let's just keep it a woman and stand out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lieutenant Ellen Ripley was born, and she is a badass, man.
She's great.
I mean, what's great is, I think, in Alien, like, she's not trying to be a hero. She's she's just surviving.
Yeah.
You know? And she doesn't make stupid decisions. Like, she doesn't play on emotions. You know?
No, she's actually the only one trying to make the smart decisions, like when she refuses to let them back in after the initial attack on Kane, because that's not the quarantine protocol, you know?
Yeah.
But of course, gets overridden by the evil android. But still, she's the only one who's like, no, this is a bad idea, and if we'd only listened.
Yeah. I think what makes her such a badass is because she does, she doesn't really give a shit about what the guys say. She's like, no, like, I can handle it. This is the thing. But when you see the way she interacts, like, even with the cat, and this little girl, it's like her instincts as a mother. Like, she's very nurturing and does want to save everyone and everything, and she cares. She's not like, oh, it's too late, and until really the second one, because it really was too late. Like, what are you gonna do? Go in the lion's den or the alien's den and save all your people?
Yeah.
No, because that's a stupid move, and most people make that kind of a stupid choice in horror films. That's what gets you killed, and she didn't do that. But it was because she was just a normal person, and she wasn't just like, what would you say, what were they called, fembots or something in Austin Powers?
Right, yeah.
That's what I like to call it, like, females who are kind of badassy like that, and they're just kind of like all of a sudden they have these, like, super skills, which is fine, but she was really relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times they try and make, like, action girl trying to be, like, empowering or whatever, but they're written so flatly with, like, no personality outside of, oh, I can kick ass,
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ripley, I shouldn't call her that. Yeah, she definitely...
Oh, Ellen Ripley, it's okay.
Oh, it's fine then. But no, she definitely had,
Lieutenant Ellen Ripley.
Excuse me. She definitely had... she was definitely a more rounded character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, it plays her straight. She doesn't know how to use the pulse rifle. She asks Hicks to teach her. So, I mean, so she learns how to fire it. She shows early in the movie that she knows how to use that, oh my god, I'm blanking on what it's called. That forklift suit thing.
Yeah.
I forget the exact, oh my god, I'm so stupid. I don't know why I'm blanking right now.
No. Whenever we're put on the spot like that, it's always the case.
Yeah, well, like, she shows early she knows how to work it and work it well. So at the end, she's not, like, strapping it on like, leave her alone, you bitch. Like, I'm going to own you with this thing I don't know how to use, but be expert at it. No, she knows how to use it, and well.
Yeah.
So she plays to her strengths. She's, seen these things in action, one of them anyway, so she knows kind of what to expect, and no one listens to her. She's like, I don't care if you believe me or not, but this is what the deal is.
Yeah, no one really takes her seriously through a lot of the second one.
Oh, they don't even believe that xenomorphs exist to begin with.
Right. But back to her being nurturing, one thing that kind of sticks out to me in the second one is when they first see Newt, and she's trying to speak calmly and gently and coax her out, and the guys are back there, just grab her, here, I got her. And of course she runs away again.
Yeah. And she's in that really tough spot because she's been in cryosleep for a really long time. Her daughter, who was a little girl, is now grown up, grown old, and then died.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
she's longing to be, the mother she was as well. So this is kind of another opportunity, for her. And then she goes back to her nurturing ways. Fun fact, and I didn't know this, we discovered this, I think, today or yesterday. Did you know, Tracy, this might blow your fucking mind right now, Sigourney Weaver was nominated for an Academy Award Best Actress for Aliens.
I actually did know that.
Dude, I did not know that shit.
It was one of the first, in horror, because that was one of the first times people were, other than, and I know this isn't a female movie like this, but like Jaws, that's when people started to really turn their heads.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, horror. It's serious.
Well, Exorcist was a few years before, and that had been nominated for, I think Ellen Burstyn was nominated, or at least Linda Blair was nominated, I think. I think, maybe not. No, I could be completely wrong. Damn it, something I should have researched.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to look it up now.
No, but it was just one of those, it's like, a lot of those movies were like trailblazers in like the best, most aggressive way, because a lot of people just thought, horror was like the little bastard child of, oh God, I know that's a horrible thing to say, but like of all the genres, like, horror is just for like, and like oddly enough, people thought horror was for kids.
Right.
Like back in the day, they thought, horror's just for kids. But then movies like Jaws was able to show like the commercial success, and like Alien. Well, there you go. Winning awards and stuff, and it was just like, oh gosh, like horror's here to stay. All right, we need to pay attention to this genre. Like, it's not just goofy popcorn flicks. It's like they're good movies.
Yeah.
No, totally. This is a great segue, since we're talking about Oscar winners and the horror genre and strong females. I want to talk about FBI agent Clarice Starling.
Yes.
So, damn. Academy Award winner Jodie, two-time Academy Award winner Jodie Foster. Like two movies in a row, man. Mm-hmm. First, The Accused, she got an Oscar. Then she comes back with Silence of the Lambs, got another Oscar. So
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say, I don't remember because I was just baby, but like the Academy, critics bending over backwards not to call that a horror film so they could take it seriously, when it's it's a horror film.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's it's deeper, it's better than that, but it's a horror.
No,
film.
it is a psychological thriller.
No,
it's a psychological thriller, but I'm gonna side with Greg Nicotero. There's a great documentary on the behind the scenes of making of Silence of the Lambs, a more recent retrospective documentary, and he talked to effects extraordinaire of K&B, Mr. Greg Nicotero. They talked to him. He's like, I'm sorry, it's a horror film. If there's a guy skinning women and making a suit out of human skin, I'm sorry, that's a horror film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. No, Silence of the Lambs is a horror film.
It's a horror film.
No, it is. I totally agree. And it got all the big ones, man. Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best Picture, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I love Silence of the Lambs. I love the Clarice Starling character. And I think you got to lend a lot to Jonathan Demme for why that character works. Is she is, Clarice is a smaller woman. She's maybe 5'2", maybe 5'3". Uh-huh. She's short. And in the beginning of the movie, when she's walking through the FBI Academy, you see all these guys super tall all around her. So she's like a runt compared to everybody else. She's really tiny. And it's a man's world because you see a lot of men around her. And the other thing is, what I think is fascinating is the fact that a lot of the characters, if you notice, the interactions with Clarice doesn't do this, but the interactions with the Clarice, everyone's looking straight into the camera.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, obviously there were shots of Hannibal Lecter looking into the camera, which is creepy as fuck. But all the men, for the most part, because the movie is told from Clarice's perspective, and most of the majority of the shots in the movie, the men that are looking at her, the cameras are slightly lower. So it's they're looking down at her, but they're looking right at her. So they're looking straight into the camera. And you wanted to feel that. You wanted to feel like, she's an outsider maybe, but, she's still going to stick it out anyway. But this is how she sees. This is what she looks at. A great example of it is when they find that one body, the Buffalo Bill victim, and they're doing the autopsy, or like they're examining the body. They're in a funeral home so they can examine the body in this small, like, town. And all these sheriffs just start looking at it, and the camera pans around the room. All of them are just staring into the camera. It's a POV of Clarice. She's just looking around. All these sheriffs are just staring at her like, who is she?
Oh, right.
What's she doing here? And it's just like bizarre because it doesn't faze her.
Yeah, I like that because it sort of, it kind of like forces the audience to identify with her more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like they're looking at you, but, they're looking at her, obviously.
Yeah. And there are there's like little comments that are made, like at that same scene, right before all the sheriffs start looking at her, Jack Crawford tells this guy that's like, you guys shouldn't be here. It's like, well, this crime's a little sensitive to certain parties, and he kind of like pushes at Clarice like, like she's a woman, so she shouldn't hear this.
Right.
But he brings up later, he's like, that really burned you, didn't it, Starling? It was just smoke, Starling. I had to get rid of him, But, and then Chilton, Dr. Chilton, when she goes to see Hannibal, he's like, I've met a lot of agents from the FBI, but never one quite so attractive.
Yes.
This town can be quite a city if you have the right tour guide. She's hit on constantly.
Yeah. But that's what it is to be a woman. I just don't think we have the stomach, for all of these horrors. And it's just really super funny because women tend to, I'm really sorry to say this, Tabitha, but we go through the most painful thing of all. And,
yes.
And men cannot do that.
Nope.
It's not that they can't because they can't physically do it. They cannot do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women can take the beating, and the only thing is we are nurturing emotional creatures, but we're just as tough.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I can't identify with a man, just like a man can't identify with a woman. So, but men, it's almost like some men, not all, are just really uncomfortable, and this movie really shows that. Like, is it something to be taken away from us by a woman?
Right, yeah.
What if, so I actually never realized the camera positioning and any of that. Like, I'll have to go back and watch it again. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's something, like, unless you really pay attention, I mean, you see it, but then it probably, unless you really think about it, you're like, oh yeah. Like, it took me a long time to really start to figure all that out. I think I was watching the behind-the-scenes documentary. I'm like, well, they are all looking to the camera at her, aren't they? Because Jodie Foster doesn't really look into the camera that much. It's mainly the men that are talking to her.
That's right.
The actress Casey Lemons, who is her friend at the Academy, she looks in the camera when she's talking to Clarice. But, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's all from her perspective.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And same thing, man. She's not a hero. She's not hardcore. She's a rookie, agent. Still going through... She's not even an agent yet. She's going through, Quantico right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, but she just does what she has to do. Doesn't care. And she gets thrown into a situation, she deals with it.
Yeah, and she just kind of, like, stumbles upon the climax, really.
Yeah, she accidentally goes to Buffalo Bill's not knowing it's Buffalo Bill's. They think they got him caught.
Yeah, and she's
still following up a lead. Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens very quickly.
Which is a great reveal, by the way, the first time you see it, when you realize who she is versus where the agents are.
Yeah, they're doing the raid on the house at the same time, and it's just like leading up to it. Yeah, it's nuts.
And you're like, oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing performance, a very natural performance, and, she's tough, man. She gets really vulnerable because Lecter picks her apart. The first interaction together, he picks her apart. Like, he knows everything about her. He profiles her because that's what he's a master at doing. And there's this moment where, like, after he does, like, I know who you're trying so hard to hide that accent, and, thinking you want to get out anywhere, all the way to the FBI. And she's like, you see a lot, don't you, doctor? Like, she wants to break, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good, man. Such a good performance.
All right, I need to watch this again.
Yeah. You're like, I gotta watch Sons of Lambs now.
Great movie.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite
Their interactions
movies.
are great, though.
Yeah,
Like, he definitely leaves her shaken, but she can still hold her own with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really great. I mean, I could really go on forever about this movie because it is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I can, I love the shit out of it. But yeah, the Clarice character. I mean, yeah, she's got flaws and she's young and not as knowledgeable, but she's still smart and she still does what she has to do, and she's such a great character, and such a great movie and performance. But yeah, we're gonna jump into our next topic. Tracy, you and I both are mutual loves of the Terminator films, yes?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, we'd like to hear your take on Miss Sarah Connor.
Well, like the other women we've been talking about, she is also very vulnerable, and but she's also a mother, and especially when you see her in the first Terminator, she is just a normal woman, really super young. She's a waitress, seemingly just kind of like living her life with a roommate. She's like, whatever, this is my life. And she was just kind of thrown into this world of unbelievable, futuristic, scary shit. And again, this is one of those, this is one of those films where people are like, that's not a horror, it's more sci-fi. And it's like, but there's also subgenres within genres, people don't understand. Yeah. But it is a horror, and because I'm sorry, but really think about it. Would you want a Terminator coming after you for real?
No, Terminator's a horror film, dude. I totally agree. That is another one of my top 5 all favorite movies of all time. The first Terminator. Yeah, it's a horror film, man.
Yeah. I think so.
It is a horror film. I don't care what anybody says. This shit is scary.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that shit happening to me. But yeah, she's just a really soft woman, and even her body, you see it, she's, everything about her is very soft and non-aggressive.
Yeah.
You come back to Terminator 2, everything about her, even her body, muscles and everything, is just super hard to match her. But I mean, I guess you could say this in general, but of course she does come across as crazy, and people kind of write her off. But that's, I think, anybody, not really a female thing, but a normal thing. All right, dude, robots from the future, or this is what they were saying with cyborgs from the future. Oh my God, you're crazy.
Right.
But she kind of forgets. What's really interesting is she's fighting for her son, but she's not as nurturing, which is interesting. Like Ripley, within that, I mean, she becomes it, but it's more like she's fighting for all of humanity.
Yeah.
It's just her child. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of got that sense, and I really thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, well, what's fascinating about her is, I'm going to go back to the first one for a minute, then we'll jump into the mother nurturing aspect, because it's interesting. I do agree. But I mean, yeah, she's an ordinary woman. She's working at a place that it looks like Bob's Big Boy. It's not, but super 80s, man. You remember? I remember when nurses used to wear that. Waitresses used to wear that kind of stuff at Denny's. Those skirts and I don't know, that one-piece skirt thing. But no, it's just imagine someone coming up to you going listen, your son is going to be the leader of the human resistance in the future when machines take over. It's the fuck, Yeah, it's just what do you do to that? So she reacts fairly normally. She's freaked out. This guy's trying to kill her who won't stop and apparently won't die. She doesn't know she's never confirmed he's a robot until much later when she actually sees him as an exoskeleton for the most part. But it's he's just a dude that just won't. And then the cops are he's probably on PCP, And he punched through that windshield and probably broke every bone in his head. He'll feel it in about 4 hours, And it's just she acts fairly normal. At one point, she's arguing when Reese is by the amazing Michael Biehn. Reese is telling her, it's your son John is like this, he's like that, and he's amazing, and you're the mother of the future. You're the mother of the leader. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm not some kind of woman of the future. I can't even balance my checkbook. She says that, and when she's fighting for her life with Reese, you see that heroism come out. Because at one point, like,
Yeah.
Reese is like, they're hiding in that factory, and the Terminator full-on skeleton is coming after them. And she's like, get up! On your feet, soldier! Like, she's like, there. She's a fighter now.
You can see that huge transition.
She
like,
becomes a fighter.
very clearly.
Full transition.
Yeah.
She like embraces her destiny without even knowing it. It just happens because she's put in a situation. She's surviving. So that happens, and then the ending, man. I mean, like she crushes them. She does what she can. She sees a moment. She seizes it. You're terminated, fucker. Boom, crushes them, and
then she has her baby from a man from the future who wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, we were.
It's a wacky timeline.
We were watching the Honest trailer.
The Honest trailer, yeah.
Because and so a baby that was born by a guy who wasn't even born yet, but he had to go back because if he didn't go back, he wouldn't leave the technology to Miles Tyson, who wouldn't have invented the technology for the future.
Who caused this in the first place? We're like, what?
So it's like, it's so funny. But
you can overlook it. It's that good of a movie.
Yeah, like jump to part 2. I mean, like she totally embraces everything that Kyle Reese said to her. There's a great deleted scene that's in Terminator 2. So if you get the Blu-ray or the Ultimate Cut, you could see a deleted scene by itself or cut into the movie, which is Kyle Reese does appear in Terminator 2.
No kidding.
It's a dream. She's in the hospital. It's early in the movie. It's before she gets broken out of the hospital. But, she's in the hospital and he, like, appears, like, in the trench coat and everything he was wearing in part 1. He's like, Sarah, like, you need to protect your son. You need to be there for him, this, that, and the other. So it encourages her to escape.
Wait, I feel like I've seen that.
You might have, yeah. It's on all the DVDs and Blu-rays, so you probably have seen it somewhere.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it like just forces her to escape. So with what you're saying, it's like, yeah, she knows how important John is to the future.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of like, John, the future is depending on you. She's looking at the bigger picture. She's like, I'm not trying. John talks about her background, like growing up, is like, before she got busted, it's like, yeah, she's hanging out with all these guys in the militia and this, that, and the other. She knows Enrique, the guy in Mexico, and they go down to Mexico to hide out. Like, all these people with guns and connections and stuff, like militia. So it's like, he's supposed to grow up knowing all this shit,
Yeah.
So she's trying to prepare him. So she's not really nurturing him until he's in danger. Then it's like, you're too, like, she checks him like, you okay, baby? What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you hurt?
Right.
You're too important. You're the future.
Yeah, she treats him like a soldier the whole time.
Exactly, because...
Which is so interesting. Yeah, like, that choice is, that you were just talking about, like, that quick transition in the very first movie to full-blown, all right, we're all soldiers and we need to save the future type thing. And, just her child is just this... But it makes me sad because he is just a child, and putting that responsibility, like, hey, like, what was he in Terminator 2, like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old?
He was 10.
10. Edward Furlong did not look 10 by the way.
He was 14 or 16 when they shot that. And by the way, when I was 10, I couldn't ride a dirt bike. Like, there's just no way.
No. I would have been okay if they said he was about 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they said he was 14, I would have been, like, I don't think it would have mattered for two moviegoers if they said he was 14. Because here's the thing, and I didn't know this in 1992, because that's when I saw it.
Yeah.
I know. But I had the biggest crush on Edward Furlong.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. So that's why I think they should have played at the fort, but they didn't know that in 1992. Like what they know now, like, teen heartthrob, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did. I don't know. Like, obviously the Beatles and stuff, but like, it just didn't seem to work. I guess I don't know. But anyway, sorry. That's just
no. It's okay, man. It's okay. I was sensing that. I was sensing you wanted to get graphic with it for a second there. You're like, like John Connor, the future.
I meant 91, not 92. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
But just back. It was a super innocent kid crush, though. It was more like.
Oh, okay.
It was my first non-comic book crush. Like, you have crushes on your comic book characters, and then this was like Edward Furlong. wow.
I think
Really
you're the first woman that I've met that has said like I had a crush on Edward Furlong back in the day, because most people think, oh, you gotta put him up there with JTT, but
And he was about my first crush, JTT.
JTT was your first crush.
He was more my age, yeah.
Well, I was more. I mean, he's actually. Eddie is like older than me, but like not by much.
Yeah.
Right.
And so yeah, we were the same age. Yeah.
That's all right. My first crush was Jessica Rabbit. So.
Of course it was.
First crush.
Yeah.
That or that chick Hollywood.
Yeah.
From Cool World.
Oh my God. Kim Basinger,
something like that. I don't even know how to say her name.
Yeah, no, God, that's Cool. I totally fucking remember that movie.
Yeah.
With his like the partner is a spider. Is he a spider?
Oh God.
Yeah, it's so random. But yeah, man, Terminator's fucking great, man. I mean, Sarah Connor's such a great character. Towards the end, when they're really in danger from the T-1000, I mean, you really see her embrace more of a protective mother role. She's willing to sacrifice herself for John. Because, he's the future, but it's her son.
It's her son.
Yeah.
Right.
That is interesting. I'd never thought of it like that, but it is kind of a reversal from what you usually see. Like, the character becomes a mother, she becomes softer and more nurturing, but she, had an opposite approach because of, circumstances.
She wants him to prepare and embrace his destiny.
Yeah, that's a really interesting, way to look at it. I've never thought about it that way, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, as a mother myself, I don't know, I mean, you never know unless you're in the situation, right? But I personally think, I don't know if I would have been able to do what she did. And I get that she did it for all the right reasons. I think it takes a special kind of woman to be like, all right, this is my son, he is the future, and I have to make every choice has to be on point. It has to be the correct, as correct or as right as I think them to be for this kid to run and save the world.
Yeah. Right.
But as a mother myself, I would have been like, oh, you got a little splinter? Oh my God.
Yeah. You know what kind of pisses me off? They kind of throw it. They kind of throw it all away in Terminator 3.
Oh yeah, they made it. I don't like who played him? Nick. Was that Nick Stahl?
Nick Stahl played him, and you know what? It's not
Stahl?
It's not Nick Stahl's fault. I'm talking about the story, because they made it all about Claire Danes' character, who is supposed to be John Connor's wife in the future.
Right.
And he's like, at the point John Connor realized, like, oh my God, this is all about your father. It's always been all about your father. You and I hook up. And then, we're supposed to be together, and your father's the one that's going to put me in charge, blah, 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 or something like that. So they kind of throw away John's relevance because it's all about Catherine Brewster's, which is Claire Danes. It's more about her and, like, her destiny. Like, I don't know. It kind of throws it, which just kind of killed it for me.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, it kind of took away the edge, I think. Terminator 2 was one of those first sequels, other than Aliens, for me, that was like, holy shit, the sequel is better than in a way, like, as far as technology goes, it was. Like, the first Terminator had the nostalgia, the second Terminator was really, really good, and then it's like, does this even exist? No, in most minds, Terminator 3 does not exist.
Well,
it's just there.
No, I agree. No, yeah. I think the thing is, and I'm going to jump on that train for a second, because James Cameron did Aliens and both Terminator 2. He made two of the best sequels of all time, period. Yeah. But, I mean, if you think about it, the two films, whether it be Alien and Aliens or Terminator versus Terminator 2, you can't really compare the films in a way because they're so different from each other.
They are.
Alien is a claustrophobic home invasion thriller set on a spaceship with a parasite creature. And it's really atmospheric and really tense and very moody.
Yes.
So Aliens plays on the bigger, grander scale of, more action, more explosions, more blockbustery, but there are moments of that scary, tense feel. It's just not slow burn. Alien is slow burn. Aliens is not. Terminator is very much horror film. I'm coming after you. Slow burn, build up, boom, boom, boom. Terminator 2, not so much. It's more of an action film, but a great action film. But they're very different from each other, which is another thing. I think that's what makes them so successful and so great. Is the fact that yes, it's a sequel, but it's the same. It's got the same recipe, but massively upgraded.
Yeah.
But I think that's where it came from, where you see the whole, like, if you're, the horror movie films where, like, the sequel always has to have more body count, more this, more that. And you're right. The reason they are successful, like you said, is because they had, they kept you guessing, because it's not the same as the first one. And I think not James Cameron, I'm sorry, I'm talking about John Carpenter. James Cameron is really, really good at bringing that out. As far as James Cameron, I'm looking at the Terminator. But like, you're absolutely right. Terminator 2, it's a sci-fi, it's an action, it's not really horror-esque, but holy crap, that special effect with the liquid metal still holds up today.
Groundbreaking at the time.
I mean, 1991, holy crap. I remember watching that as a kid, like right before high school, and thinking, I don't even understand what I'm looking at. I don't understand. Like, what is this? I didn't even use the word technology. I was like, where did they get that stuff, and how did they make it work? That's actually what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's a very groundbreaking movie for its time. But, so, I mean, jumping back on top... no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
But jumping back on topic with our badass women... it really sucks that they wrote Sarah Connor out of Part 3, and they tried to bring her back with the last one they did, Terminator Genesis, and they had what's her name from Game of Thrones play her, which I think she did decent, but it's not Linda Hamilton,
I got bored.
Yeah.
I got bored really quickly.
Yeah, it's not Linda Hamilton. Like, you watch the evolution of her character, so. It wasn't the same. It was almost mocking it in a way. I mean, I like Emilia Clarke, but I don't know.
There's only one.
There's only one Sarah Connor.
Good for all things.
Well, I guess technically.
Yeah, even like, isn't it? Well, I just thought of this. 2 Game of Thrones members have played Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
Lena Headley played Sarah Connor and Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then Emilia Clarke played her in Genesis.
Yeah.
Well, just thought of that. There you go, Cinetroverts. More movie trivia. Go ahead.
There you go. You should have that more often in your shows.
Oh yeah, no, we do. We try to drive trivia when we can.
When we know stuff. Which is not often.
Yeah, because we don't know anything.
I'm going to say this about Genesis, because I did watch maybe the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that Sarah Connor lost it for me. Like, I understand why she was cast, because it's like, she's the mother of dragons, she's this badass, she comes across as super strong. But in Genesis, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I had to turn it off because I thought she wasn't commanding. And of course, it is the actor's performance, and she is not a bad actor, but she wasn't like Linda Hamilton, or how do you say her last name? Headley?
Oh, Lena Headley? Headley?
Headley, isn't it?
Headley? Is it Headley? I thought it was Headley.
I want to say Headley, but I know that's not right.
Well, I wasn't planning on talking about her. I just happened to just remember.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the Sarah Connor, you have to mention all of them.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just she's kind of lost her edge along the way, and I don't know, I couldn't get into Genesis, I think, because of that. She just wasn't, tough.
Yeah.
At all.
I can see that, yeah.
She gave these little faces here and there, and by no means, I just think, had they gone with a different actor, maybe it would have worked, because it looked like a cool concept, and I did get to see the part where they brought, I don't know, really good technology, young Arnold Schwarzenegger, holy crap, that was super.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I did like the recreation of that scene. I thought that was neat.
Yeah. I was just like like watching that whole thing. I was like, oh my god, this is so great. This is going to be like the old one. And I don't know, maybe I should finish that tonight and give Emilia Clarke another chance. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, the movie's okay. It's not great. It's kind of erases everything, and I don't know. The continuity is just like, I don't know. After the second one, just the continuity is just like not great.
Right.
Yeah. But, well, we're just about to, we're going to wind down here and start closing it up. But before we start to sign off here, Tracy, I want to say, congratulations on all of your success, all the projects you've accomplished. You are, and I think, in my opinion, an example of the potential that women can have in the industry. You are hardworking, you are smart, and you want to make good shit, man. And I think you do make good shit, And
thank you.
And I gotta thank you too.
I had a lot of help, Mondo.
I gotta say, man, I gotta thank you too, man, because the little following partial following I have by 3 people is mainly because of you, man. Getting A13 going, and that kind of got me, that bumped up my IMDb cred, So
that's right.
Thank
IMDb.
you.
Yeah. No, we all grew together, and that's the thing. What's really great about horror is because the community is very welcoming, and we allow that, and I think that's great. And I couldn't have done any of this without you either. So really, thank you, because
stop it,
you know what I mean. Like we did it. We did all of this together. Everybody involved did this together.
Yeah.
You and Drew and myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Drewski, I want to get Drew on the show, man. Drew's amazing. We're gonna get him on here at some point.
It'll be fun. Yeah, you should. You need to.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, where can we find you? Where can our listeners find you? On Twitter, on Facebook?
Yeah, most everything is under Tracy King, TRAYCEE.
Yeah, it's TRAYCEE. Tracy King.
Tracy. Yeah, that's under Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, IMDb. And, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Tabitha, any closing remarks on women of cinema? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think we've covered the 3 that we really wanted to talk about pretty well.
Yeah. Tracy, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our 2 listeners?
Yeah, women are complicated creatures, and we're just as capable of being badasses as men are. Don't take us for granted.
That's right, man. Hey, they don't call it Mother Nature for nothing.
That's right.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Cinetroverts. Thank you, Tracy King, for joining us and making time in your busy schedule.
Thank you.
We thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for talking to us so we won't have to leave our homes and talk to you in person. We can just do it from the comfort of our own home and unite individually. I'm your host, Mondo Franco. This has been this week's episode of Cinetroverts. We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Bye.